Well, kicking off our very first Friday Fun Forum, where I know I'm doing it slowly, I've got to get it into my head, where a special guest will come on in the last half hour of the show, and we will muse, talk, discuss some of the biggest stories over the week. Don't have to be a politician. It can be, I don't know, a comedian. Speaking of which, Andy Clay. Good afternoon, evening.
Leah Panapa, listen, how are you?
I'm listening. I'm good. How are you?
That's good. I'm on fire. You know, it's Friday, and that fun, what is it? Fun. You could get that wrong. You get yourself taken off there, couldn't you?
Fun. I know. I'll have to get it right in my head. For those listening, Andy Clay is a comedian and has been for. Oh, Andy, I want to say
34 years. 34 years, and in that time I've gone from nothing to obscurity. Like, why am I talking to you on a Friday night? I should be out doing some. I mean, I don't want to be like bring you down and stuff, but I should be out gigging.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm talking to you.
Jeez,
that's where it goes. That's all right.
No, look, I appreciate it, Andy. And this wasn't on the little list that we're going to talk about, but I watched last night Jimmy Carr's latest foray on Netflix. And, it's good. It is good. But, he really pushes that I'm going to get cancelled, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. And so be it, And I might have had this convo with you before. Over the years, with the times are a-changing, have you had to curtail what you talk about? Or is it like, stuff it, it's my room, and you deal with it?
I haven't had to. I have a little bit because, I don't want to alienate the crowd, but I don't worry about it too much. I think if you come into a comedy venue, and particularly if you're a well-known comedian, they've paid to come and see you, then you've got a bit of a license that people understand that what you're saying is not necessarily to be taken seriously, as witnessed by the fact that it's comedy. The hints in the title. It's supposed to be jokes. You're supposed to be able to say stuff that I always say when you go into a comedy room, there's a comedy version of parliamentary privilege. That whatever happens in there is only supposed to happen in there. But if you don't like it, you don't find it funny, you have this beautiful democratic right as an audience member to just not laugh. Not to tell everyone else not to laugh, but you just don't laugh yourself. And if you're really offended by it, walk out. But that's your only course of action, I think.
Although Andy, you know now with cancel culture, it's not that simple.
Well, there's been a few instances of that overseas. Nothing really here. I wonder if it's a little bit overstated, the cancel culture. But I wouldn't want someone in the room, like say at the Classic in Auckland, to be filming it and me to ad-lib something that might be too far in inverted commas, and then put it online and 100,000 people think it's fine, and 50, are offended by it, which is a very small percentage, and then it builds a life of its own. I don't think people are any more, a little bit maybe, a little bit more touchy, but not really. But all there is now is more platforms by which to air your views, whereas before, no one gave a rat's. To be honest, you could tell your friends in the pub or whatever that you didn't like it, and that's as far as it went. Now there's a platform that reaches more people and gives it more oxygen. I don't know that it's actually, the majority of people at any given venue, they're fine with it. They understand. And if you don't, if there's an individual joke, like I like Jimmy Carr, but there's a couple of jokes I go, and that's rubbish, mate. That's just a cheap, nasty shot. But that doesn't mean I don't like the rest of his jokes. I mean, that's, you just take each thing on its... That's like, you listen to an artist and you listen to the album. Remember when we used to listen to albums? Remember, you're old enough. Oh. And you might, like, there might be 14 songs and you like 10 of them.
Yeah.
You like 10 of the songs now. That's perfectly fine. I don't know why you'd think you'd like every joke from every comedian all the time. That's unrealistic. And just the thing with comedy, people take it personally. They it's not just not funny, but they don't like you. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I don't worry about it too much.
No, good. All right, look, couple of big stories this week we talked about on the show, Andy. Police pay. The officers have rejected the government's pay offer, which has been branded as the last chance before arbitration. I don't know how involved you've been or followed it. Your thoughts?
I'm not involved with the police anymore.
You're not? You're out of the police?
I've cleaned my life up. I don't have much to do with them anymore. Not since the incident,
Not since then. We don't talk about it. Do you? Oh no, but should we just pay the cops what they want? Give them what they want.
Well, I mean, I don't know the fine details of it, but you've got to be careful as a government saying we're going to get tough on law and order, which is what the National sort of did do a fair amount of campaigning on, and then not be prepared to support the people who are going to be actioning your tough stance on law and order. I mean, I don't know enough to know whether it's been unreasonable or not, but I find, generally speaking, people like police and teachers and stuff like that, they're not generally unreasonable people, because they're not all about the money. Because if they were, they wouldn't be teachers or nurses or firemen or police officers.
Absolutely.
It's not the kind of people that do. It's not the kind of people that do those kinds of jobs. Then money is not the first thing for them. So if they're asking for more money, I kind of tend to, without knowing the details, I tend to fall on their side of the argument. Because they're not in there for the money. They're probably asking for more money because it's reasonable. Now, the government's trying to cut all costs and all the rest of it, but if you don't have enough police, the logic is that crime will go up and you'll pay for it somewhere else. So I'd rather pay for it at this end in the prevention of crime, in a police presence on the streets that deters crime, than paying it with more prisons and for the social costs and the costs of things being destroyed and people being injured. That's my take on it. Without knowing the detail of it.
I agree, Andy, because they campaigned last year so heavily on getting tough on crime and Labor's soft on crime, and we're going to sweep in and do it. And we're like, because I'm feeling unsafe, and I am. And now the people that they want on the front line are going, nah. No, I'm not going to go out. No, I'm not going to go out and do my job yet. So I don't imagine them going, let's see how much we can screw the government for. I don't see that. But maybe I'm, maybe I've got out of touch with how the police. But I've known quite a few police officers, for the right reasons, not for bad reasons, in my time. and it's a job that you or I wouldn't want to do. Let's be honest, right? You and I. Could you imagine us as police, Andy? You and me on the beat together.
Listen, I'd go undercover in the Vice, I think, and you may never see me again. Just, there'd be some. I'd be like, "Whoa, what's he doing in that?" Yeah, well,
who's that guy in the corner?
Hang on. Whoa, what's he doing? Hang on. Oh, I'm undercover. I've been undercover about 10, 12 years now.
I can't come out.
I don't know if I'm coming out.
I'm talking to Andy Clay, comedian, and what else are you, Andy?
Just guy. Dude,
just a guy, some dude. Right. And we're discussing some of the week's big stories. I want to move on, Andy. The government announced a 2-week pet bond and obligations for tenants to pay damage if their animals, when they're trying to rent. It makes it easier if they go, hey, look, I'm going to pay an extra 2 weeks bond and then I can bring my pet in, which is actually I think it's a great law, because people struggle when they've got pets, even a cat, to bring into a house.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I think it's. I mean, it might need some tweaking. You might after a year or two going, okay, it's not enough money or too much, or whatever it is. But if you've got a pet, you have to understand that going into someone else's property, there might be damage that you as a human being would not cause that an animal might. And I think it's fair and reasonable for a landlord to want some kind of small guarantee by way of an extra deposit that they be covered should the side of the door be chewed or whatever it might happen. So I think this is a fair enough one. As I said, it's a little bit trial and error, like a lot of laws are, I suppose. See how it goes, but I think that it could be if it works out, and may need some tweaking. It could be a win-win for both landlords and tenants.
Well, you've been a landlord, Andy. What's your thought?
I have. I've been your landlord.
What's your thought then on letting pets in as a landlord?
Well, they can't be any funnier than you were 25 years ago, Leah Panapa. Let's be honest.
I brought my cat. I brought my cat with me when I flatted with Andy, who owned the house, and back then the house we were in. And my cat didn't like you, did she?
Look, animals dig me. I don't know what you're talking about. The cat dug me. I went off the cat, though, when it took a leak just near, not in the bathroom, where it would have been fine, but on the carpet near the bathroom. I'd say about 3 or 4 years of cat wee smell in the middle of summer. Yeah.
And didn't she leave you a little nugget under your bed as well?
I don't know I can't remember the nugget. I do remember the wee smell for years on end in summertime. Just like, oh, is that? Oh, yeah, it is. It's still there. 3 or 4 years. Because you had no discipline over your cat. You're a poor owner. But no, I mean the nuggets. You just let them dry up. You pick them up. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But back. I think the rule. Because a lot of people struggle with pets. To find a place is what I mean. You have to find a place, and people like pets. It's good for your mental health, et cetera, et cetera. And you're kind of going. And all these things say no pets. I mean, I live in a whole lot of houses here in a body corp, and we've got a no pet rule here. We let one in that was some kind of, not guide dog, but some kind of dog that did something special. I don't know, Sudoku or something. I'm not sure what it is, but
the Sudoku dog.
If there was I don't know what it did. I don't know, Wordle or something. But but if you've got money, I'm not keen on pets, but if you're going to pay me some extra bond, so if anything goes wrong, I can pay to fix it. Basically, It makes sense to me. It does seem like a common sense law. As I said, there might be tweaking over the time periods and amounts and all the rest of it, but I think the idea of it is worth running up the flagpole, see how it goes.